Are you prepared?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's open.
What do you want?
So we just got done watching Green Room.
We did.
It was pretty good.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, of course, we knew it was going to be the best movie that we watched this year.
I mean, it was the planned one. It was supposed to be the one that really had like some merit, and we knew it coming in.
Yes.
And what's fun about a film like this is that compared to a lot of the other stuff, where we watched Army of the Dead last time,
Yeah.
that didn't have a ton to talk about. Whereas
We talked for a while.
We
on
talked
it,
a while about it. That doesn't mean like there was a ton to talk about because
No.
we had to keep pulling things. This has a ton to talk about.
There is, yeah.
And I feel like that's because there's a spectrum. Whereas we had him toward the beginning, that was the second film we watched. There was a ton to talk about him because it was super bad.
Yes.
Then we go to the other side of the spectrum where we have Green Room, and this was really good.
This was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was blown away while we were watching it. Like, I was just like standing up most of the time, just like.
Yeah, no,
it's so tense.
The tension
I had
in
to
this,
get some of my tension out.
it's definitely a high tension movie.
It's more tension than horror. There's horror in there because like there's a lot of violence and gore.
It's realism.
Not really gore.
It's like a realistic style of horror and terror.
Yeah.
Is what you're watching. I had to question myself why this was a horror movie, and I really came to the conclusion this is more of a thriller. That's the kind of the genre that I'm kind of feeling in this. I felt less horror, but more thriller, which is still appropriate.
I feel a lot of horror in this just because of the type of violence that it is. Because it's so
graphic and
it's so graphic, it's so realistic, and this could legitimately happen.
This is a real thing that could happen. Like this could happen to someone very easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's what leads it more to the horror than a thriller. I feel thriller is more crime centered, whereas this is survival.
There's a wide genre there. I think like thriller's almost kind of like a subgenre of genres. Like
It's kind of like taking take the movie Seven.
Yes,
Seven.
That's a thriller.
Is it more of a thriller or is it a horror? Because it could fall into either category. This is kind of the same vein, but I feel this one leans more horror than thriller.
Okay.
Whereas Seven's more thriller than horror.
I'm about to say, I think this is like one of those hybrid genres. But let's go over some plot.
Okay, would you like to start?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So this movie is about a rock band who's on tour. They're not rich or anything like that. They're like trying to make it work is how this band's going on. They're one of those bands that like they feel comfortable enough going on the road and making money from gig to gig, but like they're not making money yet.
It's kind of like in the Blues Brothers when they stop at the bar.
Yeah, the rawhide.
With the rawhide scene where it's just like, we need to make some money now so that way we can get some gas to keep going.
Exactly. And that's kind of the situation that they're in. Because, okay, they stop in this town and they're like, oh yeah, we got this gig in this town we got to get to. We got this interview with this radio station. And
Can I still run that interview?
Yeah. What station is it on?
FM 85.5, Breakfast of Champions.
they are doing it, and they found out their gig has been like squashed, and nothing's going on with it.
They have to have like an emergency gig at this little random bar in the middle of the woods and nowhere.
Yeah, and that's how it leads to, because like the guy who runs the radio station interview and did all that stuff, he's got no place for them to play, and he's got like, they didn't make any money off like the backup plan that he had.
Yeah.
So like, in order for their concert to get on, or their tour to get going, they had to like make money. So he sends them to like, I think he's actually says it's outside Portland.
Let me call my cousin. I can get you guys a solid gig.
Where? Here?
Scene's dead. You'd have to dip down closer to Portland.
It's definitely in northwest.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. So he sends them to this place, and it's very clear very quickly this is a neo-Nazi skinhead bar.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly where we are.
Which is fun because the bass player is Jewish.
Which really was kind of funny. Yeah, which they were like, oh yeah, no, dude, let's do this thing where it was like they played a song like, what was it, "Fuck You Nazi Punk"? Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was really, really kind of cool.
That's a cover.
Yeah, that was a cover, everyone. Yeah, it was so cool, and it's like, yeah, and so they're like, they're playing this show, they're making their money, and then they get their money to like get
it's like $350.
Yeah, just to keep some gas money to go to their next stop. So they get their money and they're headed to their next place, and that's their plan anyway.
That's their plan. Like they go to they get their money. They're being escorted out the building, but one of the guys leaves his cell phone in the green room.
It's the girl. The girl leaves her cell phone and goes, "Hey, will you get my?" And he's like, "I got it." Is what I think. Remember what happens, right?
And so
like he goes in.
Ah, shit, my phone.
What?
My phone. I'll catch up. I got you. Thanks.
Excuse me, y'all. Oh shit.
And there's a dead body on the floor with a knife stuck in her eye.
Yep. And he's now a witness to a murder scene.
Oh, it was in the head. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in the head. But yeah, it was like right there in the head, and like they're all witnesses now to this murder scene.
Yes. And so they're being held in the smallest green room imaginable.
Right.
We're all gonna just sit here and be quiet until the police come. We'll take care of this.
Right. Except this is a neo-Nazi skinhead bar.
Yep.
There's nothing good that's gonna happen in this situation.
And they know this.
Yeah. This is a place that they like cops. This group doesn't want cops to come here. They don't want anyone to come here.
So they go outside and two skinheads stab each other.
Yep. And in order to cover up like what's happened with the 911 phone call to get people. Yeah. So they stab each other.
Because there's he does get a 911 call in. It's like, I need to report a stabbing. And they immediately call back, and they, the skinheads take the phone, and they talk to the cops through it, and the cops show up, and they have somebody who's been stabbed, so...
It's convenient and everything.
They're standing right outside.
Alright, just wait, okay? Cops are on the way.
Above and beyond, gentlemen. You need me to do it?
Nope. Wouldn't even be the first time.
Hurry up.
Go.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, which this whole thing goes into this very complex plot of them being stuck in this green room and negotiating with the Nazis with Patrick Stewart.
Gentlemen, I'm the owner. Totally sorry about this. Playing catch up here myself.
But yeah, them negotiating with the Nazi group and them trying to get out of this green room but not figuring out, but like the skinheads really don't care about them surviving or not. Yeah. All they care about is trying to get their friend who's inside out alive and them covering up this murder properly to where they can get away with it.
Yep.
And that's the whole entire plot of this movie.
Everyone's motivations are very clear.
Clear. They're precise.
And everyone makes smart choices.
Oh yeah, or at least the best decision.
The best decision they can make in the time.
Yeah, it's a logical movie. This was well done. This was well done, and we got a lot to talk about in this.
Yes.
And I'm very excited to talk about some really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
First thing I wanted to talk about was the logic.
Yes.
The logic in this film. We see so many horror films that have bad logic.
Yes.
Or just plots that don't make sense to the story or like anything else. Everything in this is pieced.
Yes. For example, we talked about in our hymn review, the guy who we thought was going to be the guy who lives through the whole thing. He, it's like 6 a.m. All he has to wait is 30 minutes for the sunrise, and then he can escape. And he just decides, I need to run outside right now.
Right. And when they come to the realization they're not going to get out of here alive, they're like, we're just going to bum rush and see how many of us survive. That's our plan at that point.
There we go.
Watch it!
And, to have any kind of plan for escape is, in any kind of situation, for example, being held hostage with a knife.
Right.
It's something that you have to keep in consideration.
Yeah, and I remember we were watching this with Avery and Elizabeth, and they kept asking, why don't they just leave the room? Why don't they just really...
Because they don't know what's on the other side of the door.
That was another great thing about it. Building the tension in this film showed us some brilliant... normally the rule is don't show.
Yes.
Because it builds more tension. This worked in reverse, where
they
it was showed.
So that way it built the tension.
And we sat there and it's if the door's open. The door's open. There's no one on the other side of the door right now. And Avery and Elizabeth kept going, why don't they just leave? And we're just
they don't know.
They don't know that. We know it. They don't. It's the audience knows, and it makes it more stressful for us as an experience in the audience. And we're we know, they don't. That's the issue.
Yep.
And then when we said that, they were oh, duh. And it's and that added to the brilliance of the film. And that's what made it so much more stressful for everyone. Oh, tension's good.
What is that? Give that to me. Hand it over.
Oops. Wait, was that a phone?
Oh, shit. Point it at the door.
Maybe it's the police. It's a raid.
Are you serious?
Fuck off, Ilsa.
Yo, quiet. Okay, Justin, don't move. Nobody move.
No, if we get all behind here...
Nobody talk.
Careful now.
So yeah, no, there's excellent build-up of tension, there's excellent build-up of logic, which is just everything that you're asking for in a film like this.
Yes.
For instance, when we watch Slaughter High, that is a similar idea, not exactly the similar idea, but it's another slaughter
people are trapped in a location with a killer trying to kill them.
Yes.
I don't know if I can connect with that kind of situation, but I know that a lot of movies kind of deal with these things.
Yes, and so for that, the logic isn't there for that necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, let's go have sex upstairs is in the middle of Slaughter High.
Which made no sense.
But it led to stress non-stop.
It is, we are trapped here. We need to get out now, so that way we can live.
100%. And speaking of living, let's talk about the gore in this for a moment.
The first gore scene is when the lead actor Anton Yelchin.
Yes.
He reaches through a door.
They're negotiating for the gun. Is what it is. Yeah. And he's he's going to give them the gun because they feel like this is the only way to move negotiations forward.
Yes.
And he gets his arm cut up by what I believe to be box cutters.
Box cutters is my assumption as well, because another guy had a box cutter on him.
Yeah, and his hand is tore up, and
it's just all down his arm. It's
screwed up nastiness. It's so bad.
It's so realistic.
It's terrifying. And that's the moment where
that's the change.
If you didn't understand the stakes at that point, the stakes were never built higher at that point. It's an awesome piece of storytelling using your props and using your makeup effects. And it's just really, really good. Because it's just so emphasized so well. And it's just oh, I love this. This is so good. But yeah, they're digging into it, and it's terrifying, it's gory, it's awful, it's everything you want out of a movie!
And then they get the door shut, and they immediately start, duct taping his arm.
It's raw, it's nasty, and, it's just...
this is going to hurt, and this is going to be terrible for you, but you might live through this.
Yeah, you're not going to lose all your blood. You're not going to just like lose your hand, out of this process. Like it's anything and hopeful. It's the stakes have now grown into a level of survival mode.
Up until this point, it was we're probably going to be killed by these people. However, we may be able to talk our way out of this. To there is no more talking. We have to survive.
We have to survive. This movie is nothing about it. Has no point of negotiation, because that was what we were all thinking. It's like maybe this film is going to be a 90-minute movie about negotiation, which it possibly could be. That scene ended that thought pattern.
Yep.
And it ends it at the perfect time, because you're sitting there questioning the entire time with the back and forth conversation between the main character and Patrick Stewart, where they're going back and forth and they're talking back and forth. You're starting to think, well, maybe this is going to be a negotiation movie. It's very clear after that scene that, even that seed that's been planted in your mind, just like you took it out and you hit it with a hammer. Like it was just like, that's dead.
Yep.
There's none of that anymore. And it's a perfect string, and that's where these logic and the storytelling just comes in so well into effect in this, and unbelievable. More to talk about in this film.
There's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about in this film.
Let's talk about characters.
Let's talk about characters.
The main core of the cast is the band.
Yes.
That is the central characters that you're siding with through the whole movie.
So you got Tiger,
who's I think he was like the singer or the lead
Yeah, I
guitar.
think he was the singer. He was the guy with the green hair, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Then you have all the other band members.
Sam was the girl, and then you got Anton Yelchin playing. His character's name was Pat.
Pat. Yeah. Pat. Yep. Pat. So, but with all these characters, like you can kind of feel their dynamic from the very start, because the movie does start with like the before we get into this situation, and you get to see how the characters interact with each other, which is always good for a horror film because it builds relationships between the characters, and you understand who these people are before the situation.
Yeah, there's different like levels of it. You got Cole, who's just like, I'm trying to remember, like I think the actor's name is Cole of that.
Joe Cole.
Reese. Cole. Yeah, Reese. Reese is definitely the more like sure of himself guy in every situation. Tiger has got like kind of a false mantra kind of about him. Like I don't know if that's the word, but like he's a little too sure of himself, but like not sure enough of himself. Like it's false confidence the entire time.
Yeah.
Whereas Pat's more humble, more meek, and
very humble. Very like he is there because he is good at what he does, and he's friends with these people.
Yeah.
He doesn't, like, you can feel like he doesn't really care if they make it big. He just wants to have fun with his friends.
Yeah, he wants to have fun with his friends. He wants to play music. That's his thing. Like, he has no, like, ambition to do anything else besides play music. And we understand that completely, pretty quickly out of his character. Sam is the other one who's the bass player girl.
Yeah.
She's kind of got like this like flavor kind of all her own, where it's like I'm one of the boys, but I'm also like the girl of the group at the same time. And it's like we kind of know this person a little bit. Like, you know, if you've ever met this person, you know this person pretty darn well.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's a very great understanding of who these characters are pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then when they get into the situation, they get introduced to Amber, who is Imogen Potts. And she's not quite part of the group. She's friends with one of the members in the group. And her friend Emily is the one who get murdered on the floor.
Yeah.
That started the whole situation.
And everything gets complicated at that point, and that's the story that we have.
Yep, and then she's there for the rest of the movie.
With the stakes just as high as everyone, because she is a witness to this murder.
She's a witness to the murder. She has no connection to these people. She needs to be taken care of.
Yeah. And that's just kind of the situation. Like, this whole movie plays off this murder incident so well. And without it, like, this story is just perfectly designed around this whole thing. And that's what builds it.
And then, on the flip side of that, we have our Nazis.
Our Nazis are a totally different group of characters, but are equally as strong as far as their development goes.
Patrick Stewart plays Darcy, who's the head of the club bar. That's like, he's the owner of the bar. They have a heroin ring. I think it's a heroin ring.
Heroin, yeah, it's heroin.
That's run out of the bar as well, and so that's the reason why they're like, we need to get rid of these people, and we can't let a crime happen here, because if a crime happens here, Police will investigate. They'll find our heroine, and then we'll all go to jail.
100%.
And so all of, like, their reasoning, they're bad people, but their reasoning makes sense for their logic.
I think Patrick Stewart's character is one of those villains who's logical, clear-headed, but just damn evil. Is this the entire time?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing then? Let's get in there.
We're not coming apart, is what we are doing. We're saving questions until this pig fuck is transferred offsite.
Darcy.
Okay. Last chance. If anyone needs to take a leak.
So yeah, Patrick Stewart, incredible villain in this.
Yes. Fantastic. And some, like, near the end, like, in his, like, last scene, sort of sympathetic.
Right? Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, like, giving that, like, Patrick Stewart charm to it of, I didn't want this to happen, but I have to protect my own.
Exactly.
It's a nightmare.
For us all.
Like, it's one of those that's a good setup, it's a good wrap to this type of movie, to this movie in general.
Yeah.
It's a great little wrap to it. Some of the other Nazis that are worth mentioning are Big Justin.
Big Justin!
They're called cartridges. The bullet is a part that enters your brain if you keep talking shit. And this gun only has 5 cartridges, not 6. Because they're big as fuck and only 5 fit the cylinder. So please, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Justin was
pretty villainous.
Like, it was a pretty intimidating Nazi, I'm just saying.
He's the one who hangs out in the green room with the band, with being held hostage at gunpoint for a good 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, it's his character is very. He himself
is one-dimensional.
He himself is one-dimensional, but it's okay for his character to be one-dimensional
because of the situation that he is in.
He's also a pawn.
Yes.
Like, let's be honest. Like, his situation in all this thing is a pawn. It's not a high complex character.
No.
There's not a lot at stake here. He believes in the Brotherhood. That's all that needs to be worried about.
Yep.
He believes what he is doing is for his cause, and he believes what he's doing is right.
Yep.
And because it's in service to, like, his group, his founding group, his everyone there, like,
and Darcy.
Yeah. That's how his character works. That's his character's logic, and everything works in play there.
Made me feel good for a one-note character.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad for a one-note character. It played well. But yeah, that's kind of the situation that we run into with Big Justin versus Gabe.
He's on his way. He knows about that. Not this.
You can't keep us here, man. You gotta let us go.
We're not keeping you. You're just staying.
You're up.
The fuck that's supposed to mean?
Just relax! Everyone just relax. Cops are coming.
Yes.
Gabe was a much more dynamic character.
Gabe is the one who called the cops at the end of the movie, right?
Yes, Gabe is the one who called the cops at the end of the movie.
Fantastic turn for a character.
That was an awesome turn for a character.
Like, we kept expecting him to, like, kind of twist it back around and, like, go back to being evil, but he didn't.
Yeah, I think the stakes of losing their friend Daniel and losing Emily and this whole thing, the girl who was murdered, that situation, I think, played on him.
That, and also, like, when he has his moment of turn, it's like he goes, I wasn't aware of everything.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of everything that was going to happen. This wasn't my call kind of thing. Like,
and it's this guy feels horrible about everything that's happened.
I legitimately believe this dude's plan was, at the beginning, I'm going to have one of the guys stabbed, and we're going to cover this whole thing up, and then what's going to happen next is that this band is going to leave, and we're going to get them the hell out of here, and we're going to give them these $600 that I just got to keep their ass quiet.
Yeah,
I think that was the plan.
Yeah, that was his plan.
That was his plan. And it just did not develop that way when Patrick Stewart's character got involved in the whole thing. Because his thing was, I have to protect my heroin ring. We cannot have a police investigation. We can't even risk that because of the situation that we're building up. We're already a hate group, and we're a hate group peddling drugs.
Yep.
Like, it's just one of those situations, like, the dynamics of this whole situation grow and the stakes grow. And I think on Gabe's character, he has to sit there and he has to make that emotional journey. Like, this story is about the band, but it's Gabe's journey in a weird way.
Yeah, in a way.
At least his character's journey
his character has the most growth.
His character has the most growth
of any of the characters.
Yes. That is the character with the most growing. That is the character, like, he's not the main character, but he's got a huge journey he takes throughout this entire film.
It's from last Easter. Supposed to disappear after the boat party.
He just started talking. Amber's alive saying Worm did it.
Never mind that. You, Worm, saved us all.
Every single scene that he's in is very, very important.
And you see these subtle changes in it.
That's one of the things about this movie is every scene in this film is important. There is a reason for every scene. There are a lot of movies out there that you're watching this movie going, why should I care in this moment?
Yeah.
This is one where every single moment that you're watching this is important. Like, every little thing leads to the next thing. Every hair is followed. Every string that you're like, you have this beginning, and then it's this like twisting, turning, curving line.
It's perfectly interlaced.
It's a line.
And that's why I bring that point up that I brought up earlier. It's just like every actor has a layer that's built on top of another layer, that's built on another top of a layer of logic after logic of logic of human emotion, and everything's being built together for an incredibly strong acting performance.
Yes. Even for Patrick Stewart, like with his character, like we have like this, I need to protect my own and my group, and I need to be able to protect everything I have. Yes. But then you also have this, I kind of regret doing this, but it's the only way that I know to protect. And so then he has all of his friends and his brotherhood who get killed in this situation, and it's the next thing of, well, now I'm even sadder because this thing, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Like, this is a movie where literally nobody wins.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a movie where no one wins. It's incredible. And there's even more to talk about when you come to the directing and you come to everything else. The attention to detail and the technical aspects of this continue to further the storytelling.
I'm hungry.
I can't die here with you.
So don't.
But we wanted to talk a little bit also, like I said, about the technical aspects of this film.
Yes,
This
it
is
technically amazing.
This is a beautiful, beautiful film. Outside of the makeup effects that you're seeing with the gore, outside of the awesome gunshots that look real and are just legit.
Yep.
One of the big things I wanted to talk about.
See, I was gonna, for makeup effects, they're technically amazing.
Oh yeah, no, they're beautiful.
They're beautiful in a grotesque way.
Oh no, they're disgusting and horrid. Like, don't get me wrong, they're gorgeous. Like, yeah, it's that kind of thing. Like, when you're, it's art.
When you. It's one of those things where you can just marvel at the effect of anything.
I go back to the arm just being cut up and destroyed. Like, that is just some beautiful makeup.
The dog eating the people's necks.
Guts right there. It's not cheesy. It's just
Graphic and
real
horrifying.
enough. It's just real enough to where it gives some quality in there.
Oh
yeah.
Justin.
The Justin getting cut open with the box.
Don't do that to us.
That is some beautiful, beautiful effects in there.
I don't know if I can put some of these effects in the video just because of how graphic they are. It is that bad.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch a lot of these for yourself because YouTube might block them for us on this. But yeah, it's...
I've seen some horrible stuff on YouTube, but I don't personally want to put some of this stuff in the video.
This is some pretty violent, pretty gory, pretty awful stuff, and it's good with the capital G. Oh, man, just unbelievable as far as the practical, physical, and just makeup artistry in this film. The other things I want to talk about, though, are the lighting, which is gorgeous. You have different temperatures, different feels that just work really well in this. The colors in this, like, it's called Green Room, but it's got like a rock and roll green feel. Like, it's not so much... I'm a sucker for color. And I've told you guys this 1,000 times. Like, not you, but, you and the other, Zeke and Elizabeth. Like, we've talked about this before. Like, I'm a sucker for color. There's so many...
The amount of green at the beginning of this film is both horrifying and breathtaking.
It's nauseating, is what it is. But it's also rock and roll at the same time. There's 3 ways to do color, or there's several different ways to do color. But like when I say good color, I'm not just talking about the way Baz Luhrmann does color in Great Gatsby. I'm not talking about just about Moulin Rouge. But I'm also talking about the way that Wes Anderson uses color in
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel. It's not so much...
everything in that movie is kind of tinted yellow to kind of give it like an aged feel.
Yeah, in that movie...
Everything's kind of tinted green, not just because of the name of the film, but because it nauseates the sign.
It's not so much green. This is the point why I was bringing up Grand Budapest Hotel. Is like Wes Anderson uses colors that aren't so much brown as they are chocolate. He doesn't use purple as it is lavender. This movie doesn't use green.
It's more like seafoam
or olive.
Olive
or khaki blended green. Like this is not green. This is disgusting.
Yep.
It is
the worst hospital colored walls you can imagine. It's from like the 1950s.
If I pull up a South Park clip, it would be something probably with Cartman going, and we have these lovely shades of baby poop green. It's that level of just like it's anywhere from rock and roll to disgusting at the same time. Mm-hmm. Corey, you used green on stage before for Julius Caesar.
Yep. The director who we love you. You're not watching this.
You're not watching this.
My favorite thing was in tech. He went, "Is that green that I see on my stage?" And I go, "Yep." Because I was lighting designer, and he goes, "Why is there green on my stage?" I'm like, "Does it make you feel uncomfortable?" Yes. Good. Because it's the soothsayer. You should feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. And you feel uncomfortable. You understand that level of green right there. And it's just like, and that's what you get throughout this film. But there's also, it's not just the green. Yeah. There's other colors in this. The red's very alive in this.
Yes.
The red's so alive.
The blues when they're outside.
The blues when they're outside. The blues when they're in the basement and you get that white light that's hitting them. And you just feel the temperature change from room to room just without where it's like, it almost makes your hair stand on edge because you know the temperature feel difference.
Yeah, or even when they go into like the heroin room.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. When they go when they go under the green room.
Yeah, and it's like the laboratory kind of feel.
Okay, but yeah, there's all these different colors and these temperature changes that are happening, and it's a wonderful effect. And I can't help but feel like between the director and the director of photography, who is Shawn Porter, by the way, who is...
Fantastic.
I had to look him up. The man is very, very good. If you're looking for some other stuff that he's done, you need to look up a movie called... The Treasure Hunter is the end of it. It's Japanese. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my notes. Kumiko, the Treasure Hunter. He won this award, actually, not too far from us. He won it at the Tallgrass International Film Festival, which is in Wichita, Kansas, about 2.5 hours away from us. Which, that movie has some amazing cinematography. You can understand who he is as a cinematographer just by watching some of his other films, and this one is no different. Like, this is just his complete understanding. He is a wonderful cinematographer, and his work that he is doing in this film versus other films that he's done, because I had to keep looking up, I had to keep finding out, because I was so blown away by this, because this isn't grand scheme. Like, this isn't...
It's simple, it's very, very clear.
It's powerful. That's the thing to remember, is that it's powerful cinematography done.
It's clear.
It's clear, it's concise, it has a direction. Like, he doesn't so much as use, like, a wide shot just for the sake of a wide shot. He shows a wide shot to show a collective gathering of minds there when they're in the room, like, what do we do? What do we do? Mm-hmm. But then he goes really close to the face, and you get the face, and everything's expressed very hard there, and you understand that character in that moment. And even when he does the simple things, like not so like when they're sitting on the couch with him and with Pat and Amber, I think were the names, but they're sitting on the couch and they're talking about the paintball game. Back and forth to each other. It's not so much just a regular OTS, but even in the simplicity of that shot, you still have the states and the tension. Nothing is ever dropped, and you understand these characters, and you still build character development on top of all the tension that's being happened in the scene. It is some incredible, incredible work.
Yeah.
Hey, I want the rest of your pep talk.
Oh, no longer applies.
Oh, come on. I'm curious.
I don't think there's anything else that can be said about the cinematography other than it's spectacular.
Yeah. I got nothing because like the whole movie, I was just blown away by everything that was happening, like in the cinematography field. I got nothing to say on it.
It's a wonderful film.
It's beautiful.
It is by far. I'm glad we waited to watch this one at the end. This is the best movie we watched this year, easily. Mm-hmm. This came out in 2015. I wish I had heard more about it. You said this film was rated where in Reddit?
Reddit
for top 4 movies all time.
The subreddit horror, also known as Reddit, recently did their top 100 horror films of all time, and they do one like every year where it's like people vote for what they think is the best horror films of all time. And this year, this one came 57 out of 100, which is not bad considering all the horror movies that have come out over the last several years.
Yeah, unbelievable film. It's pretty darn good. I suggest highly
this has like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. If that doesn't sell you,
yeah, ignore the IMDb score, which is only a 7.
Really?
Yeah, ignore that because this thing is amazing. This is a great film.
It's so well done.
This is a thriller made for people who like film. Yep. Because you will appreciate every moment of it. It's not cookie cutter generic terror and thrill. That's not it. No. This is great. This is art and thrill, and it's perfect. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
We going? Hi, down there, dipshit fashion punk clown motherfuckers.
Turn around!
Shazbot!
What? Who is that?
Odin himself.
Great movie. Just 100% great movie. I'm just blown away with it. Yeah. Now, let's find out who you really are. It's Old Man Jenkins.
I'm Zeke, idiot.
I know.
Yeah. Anyone who knows us should not be surprised by this.
Not in the least bit.
Hey Zeke, what did you think of Green Room?
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was actually a really great film. I'm not usually one for... I gotta get this thing off. I'm not usually one for violence and gore when it comes to my horror films. I like the existential dread kind of stuff. I really like The Witch. The Witch is a really good example of that. But, with this one, it just somehow it made sense.
Oh yeah.
And I was genuinely scared for the characters. There was one moment, the moment where they cut open
Big Justin.
Yeah, Big Justin scene.
Oh,
where they cut open Big Justin. And
the way they do it is it's just, it's so clear and precise.
Like as soon as it
sound.
As soon as it started, I was like, nope.
Unbelievably terrifying.
Oh, it was so
Unbelievably
good.
Great film. Oh man. I like I said, I'm glad that this was the one we went out on.
I genuinely felt like this was something we shouldn't be watching.
Legitimately, which is the compliment that you would love to get if you have a horror movie.
This is A24, who everything they've done has been fantastic.
They do some great work.
With the exception of possibly They Come at Night, which I was kind of on the fence on.
They mostly come at night.
That's why I think They Come at Night is missing.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Anyway,
there it's over there.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was fantastic. I was delightfully surprised.
Yeah.
I was halfway expecting to watch a crappy movie with you guys because that's kind of what we do.
Oh no! Like this year, this year I knew that we were cutting down on our scope because we didn't want to do the 13 nights because that's killed us every time we.
And let's also call back to, if you want to go view our previous YouTube channels, where we had 2 stacks of videos and we were like, we're gonna watch a horror movie every night through October.
That was fun. That was a great idea. But churning out the videos every day was killing me.
Yeah, that was awful. And
churning
then when we
out
got
the videos
to Piggy.
Piggy.
Piggy. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, no, that killed us. But yeah, I'm glad we concised it down to 5 good films, or not good films, but we concised it down to 5 films that we wanted, and they were 5 films that.
Well, and this is the one, like, we talked about watching 5 minutes of each film. This is the only one that we didn't do that, because I told you, I'm like, everything I've heard about this movie is, it is a fantastic movie. And I'm not going to lie to you about that. This is supposed to be really good.
Yeah, and...
Let's watch something good this year.
Yeah, that was our emphasis. Like, a couple years ago, we got Dark City.
Which was good, but it wasn't quite horror, and it wasn't something that was anyone's cup of tea.
Yep.
Except mine.
All right, so I want to tell you guys a couple of things as before we head out here today. First off, Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween.
For you guys who stuck with us and watched the Halloween reviews on Lonesome Sunday's first year of doing this, we're very glad you joined us, and we hope you come back next year.
Yes.
We're going to be doing Christmas reviews coming up very, very soon. We will let you know on the podcast when that's going to come out, as long as social media also.
Yep.
Another thing, coming soon also, we're going to have the podcast coming to YouTube.
Yes. Starting in November, we're going to be uploading an episode a week of our podcast, so that way our YouTube audience can watch it if they want to watch it there. It's also on SoundCloud, and we're going to try and get it on a bunch of other websites soon too.
We have some long-term expansion plans to get it to where you can listen to the podcast if you're really interested in listening to the podcast, which we hope you are. We hope you enjoy a lot of this stuff. If you're enjoying this, please let us know. We love the support in any way that you can let us know, or in ways that we can improve, in ways that other things you want to do. You have a film recommendation that you want us to review? We'd love to do it.
Please.
We love that.
I don't know if you know this, but I like having movies.
We love movies.
If you suggest something to us, I'll probably buy it.
Yep. We also have some other projects that will be coming up very soon, so as soon as those films get more progress, we're actually starting our next film project on Monday, which we're really pumped about. So we'll be talking about that a little bit on social media also, and that one's going to be like a very long-term planning. So we've got a lot of things brewing. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those social media platforms.
Smash that like button!
Smash that like button! Share,
Ring
like,
that
and
little
comment!
bell!
Yeah.
Oh god, I hate myself for doing that.
I don't want to be those people, but we would appreciate you guys following us.
Yeah, and please leave a comment so that way we know what you like for us to do.
Yep. Thank you guys so much, and we can't wait to announce our next movie, our next short film, and our next reviews.
Yep. Happy Halloween!
Here comes Christmas.
Yo, Tadpole, I'm sorry I almost obliterated you, man.
Not a problem.